All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion, Demystifying AI, Practical Applications for Business Growth. Artificial intelligence is no longer a buzzword. It's transforming industries at an unprecedented pace. And in the next 20 minutes, we'll explore how to clear up the biggest misconceptions around AI and build confidence across the workforce. We'll also see where AI is already transforming processes and driving measurable results. We'll talk about the regulatory landscape and how to prepare for oversight and risk management. And finally, we'll highlight the role that women are playing in shaping AI's future and concrete steps that we can take to act responsibly. We have Soribel Feliz. She is a responsible AI consultant and a thought leader in AI ethics space. She is currently a senior AI policy and governance specialist at the Department of Homeland Security. Previously, she was a senior AI and tech policy advisor for Senator Bill Cassidy as part of an AI Rapid Response Fellowship for Congress. Prior to that, she worked in regulatory compliance at Meta and Microsoft. And before joining Meta, she was part of a diplomatic service with the U.S. Department of State. We also have Alicia Lyttle. She is a renowned AI strategist, entrepreneur, and TEDx speaker with over 2 decades of experience in the intersection of artificial intelligence, digital transformation, business and business innovation. As the CEO of AI Innovision, she helps organizations harness the power of AI automation, driving innovation and scaling impact across industries, including finance, healthcare, government, and entrepreneurship. One of the biggest challenges that we hear across industries is that while leaders see the potential of AI, the workforce often feels uncertain. There's fear about jobs being replaced, the confusion about what I can and can't do, the hesitation about how to start. Yet AI is going to be, if AI is going to be effective, it has to be embraced across every function of business. So, Soribel, let's start with you. Let's start with the big one, the AI factor. How do we address that apprehension? And what persistent misconceptions about AI need to be cleared up to make that adoption easier?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say is leaders have to listen. They have to listen actively, they have to lead with empathy, and they have to explain the benefits of AI and the consequences of not adopting, of not learning how to use these AI tools. This is a new technology, and the pace of development and adoption and deployment is very fast. And some workers are a little bit overwhelmed about it. And so I think the best way to overcome this resistance is to explain that this is something that will help you, that will augment you, that will make you more efficient and help you learn faster and do your job faster, and have that sympathy that people are fearful that this technology can take their job. So for leaders first have to define what learning AI means.
Alicia, you work with organizations at the ground level. What approaches have you seen that actually build confidence and excitement instead of fear when AI is introduced?
Yeah, right. So, Rona, I have a great story. When I first started really getting into AI, and I asked my team, I was like, we're getting all into AI. We're going to have a team meeting about it. Everybody came to the meeting with fear. They all thought that I was going to fire them and replace them with AI agents. But I was like, no, we might redefine our roles. But first of all, we're going to start off with just naming the fear with facts. Like, let's talk about the fear. And so, this is what I do inside of businesses first. And it's just like a 6-step playbook. And number one is that we name the fear. So we share what AI can and cannot do within your role. So we do have people who in our team, we have an AI first policy in our team. So that means that if you're going to do something in our business, can AI do it? That's the first question that you need to ask, because I want you to focus on doing the high value task, which is part of this playbook, right? So first of all, we name the fear. Can AI do that role for you? And even if it can, then what else can you do? So naming the fear. And then number two is everyone levels up. We're all leveling up together, and we're leveling up on the clock. That means that we have AI learning sessions. We have one person on our team who comes and trains everyone, as do I do. And then number three is we think of AI as a helper, not a replacement. So we tell everybody, like, AI is your coworker, it's your team member. And actually, when we integrate AI agents, Rona, the AI agents, they have names, they have personas. So our team internally consists of humans and AI agents or staff members doing tasks and roles together, but the AI staff members are all powered by the humans. And as we integrate this into different businesses, we say the same thing, like we have to give them roles and personas and focus on integration. And then number four is show the quick wins, like celebrate publicly when your team has a win. And the more you celebrate the win of the team members that are using AI, the more everybody gets excited about it. Redesign roles instead of moving roles away. So my VA, I've had to redesign his role because I have AI scheduling things on my calendar for me, checking my emails for me, so I'm trying to redefine his role to focus on higher value work. And then the last one is putting those guardrails. And I know this is what Soribel was talking about, like, but putting those guardrails in place. So have clear policy just to make sure that safety measures are in place for everyone.
Awesome. Okay, we have some great nuggets there. Let's pivot to another thing. We've talked about fears and misconceptions, but let's flip to the other side of the story, the wins. You just talked about that, Alicia. The reality is that AI is already transforming the way that we get work done, from streamlining operations to boosting productivity. We just heard that. And the most convincing way to build trust is to show where it's actually delivering results. So, Alicia, you're helping businesses every day navigate AI. What processes have you seen transformed by AI, and what kinds of measurable improvements do you see standing out?
Yeah. Rona, I like that you said measurable improvements, because we always start with measurable impact. Like, if we integrate AI, what is the measurable impact that it's going to have on that business? It's almost like using the same word as return on investment, but we're making sure that everything is measurable across all of the integration. So if we're going to integrate some sort of AI task, what is that going to do for the person and the business? And sometimes it isn't measurable. Like, employee happiness isn't always measurable on a numeric scale. But for example, I worked with a company and I took an employee who, it took her 35 hours a week to do this task for 20 clients. And we AI-ified it. So we helped her with AI, where that same 20 clients, it now takes her 3 to 4 hours a week. So the company could open their doors and bring in more clients, increasing their revenue. But when I had a conversation with her, she was actually happier, and saying that this process, less work for her, more oversight. She felt more as a boss, like working with the AI and giving the final oversight instead of the worker. So with the company, we could look at the measurable impact. Now going from servicing 20 clients a week to now they're servicing 85. I mean, what is the measurable impact of that? And they, increased their advertising for that and now promoted that as a service. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I was just on stage the other day and I talked about one of our AI agents. Her name is Franny, and she is a feedback coach for us. And what we do is, with our clients, they put their presentations and give it to her. She gives them feedback, judgment. She gives them back a report, and they keep improving it until she gives them an A+. And the measurable impact on that of me is every quarter it saves me on average 65 hours, right? Which is equivalent to $231,000 of my time. So for me, I'm saying this AI agent has freed up this many hours for me every quarter. And so it's that measurable impact and telling those stories that gets businesses excited. They're like, if I can save time, make my employees happier, make more money, then show me how I can AIify this process, this process, and this process.
That is so exciting. It's so exciting. And I'm going to follow up with another question later
Okay.
to you around that. So, Soribel, so maybe something that's not as exciting as getting in there and getting those measurable results, but just as important. Um, from a policy and governance perspective, how do you see these productivity gains being balanced with responsible strategic adoption?
Um, so I think the best way to balance those things is to have an AI usage policy in your
Mhm.
organization. And so that means whether it's, government, whether it's Congress, or whether you're a small business or a big business, everyone should have an AI usage policy so that your employees feel comfortable doing what they need to do. So, for example, there's a phenomenon out there that's called shadow AI. That means that whether or not you have an AI usage policy, or whether or not you've purchased AI, like large language models or other AI tools, your employees are using it. So the best thing you can do is get ahead of any usage and have a clear usage policy. Go all in on AI, but really have a clear usage policy, and also disclose to your clients that you are using AI, and have a clear data governance policy. If you're taking your client's data, make sure that you have, ways to protect that data. As long as there's clarity and transparency, I think that's the best way you can balance the gains with the risks.
Alicia, smaller companies or startups don't have big compliance teams, but they also need to address this responsibly. What do you recommend folks do that may not have a ton of resources?
Yeah. If you don't have a ton of resources, you have AI. So,
I knew you were going to
a lot of times, I've worked with companies that are very small, smaller companies, and they're like, we cannot hire a chief AI officer. We can bring in a consultant maybe once, but we really don't have yet the resources. Because I always say yet, because when I tell them go all in on AI, the way that you can grow, scale, and multiply changes, right? But if you don't have that yet, could you use AI as your advisor? So I always tell them, like, if you're using ChatGPT and you want to ask ChatGPT these questions, so make sure that first you're setting up your security and privacy in ChatGPT. So it's always like, okay, go to the security settings, turn on multi-factor authentication, go to data control, turn it off where it says allow the model to use your data to, train the model, turn that off, and then start asking it different questions about how your company can use AI responsibly, how you can integrate it responsibly, the things that you need to put in place for a compliance checklist and that sort of stuff. And then, write down the phrase human in the loop and override, and see how through your AI processes that you're setting up, you still have the humans in the loop as you continue to grow, scale, and evolve. But if you ever say, I don't have the resources, that's not true, because you have AI. So just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, act as an AI compliance manager for a large corporation and advise me, ask me questions about my business and about myself so that you can create my compliance plan for me. And you'll see it'll ask you 10 questions. And then you answer those 10 questions, and then it will help you come up with your company compliance plan. And then keep asking it questions until you come up with something that everyone is comfortable with.
And doing something is better than doing nothing at all.
Absolutely.
Right. And so you've
Absolutely.
already moved the
Use
ball.
what you have.
Just
Right.
get started. Awesome. All right. So AI is transforming the way we work and lead, and women, obviously, at this table, are playing a powerful role in shaping the future. And these opportunities, the opportunities and the challenges, have evolved significantly over the years. And Alicia, as a now nationally recognized leader in this space, how have you seen the landscape shift for women in tech and AI? And what excites you most about where it's heading?
Yeah. So when I first started off really training and teaching in AI, we had, maybe 50% women, 50% men. Now we're at like 92%, I think, women in our AI programs, and that's our certified consultant program. And I would say that women attract women when they're also training in artificial intelligence. And as we still see that, women leading in AI, the numbers are, they're so much smaller than men. The women that are leading in it, talking about it, training in it, they're empowering other women. So we're seeing the rise in women in AI, and it's just going to keep going that way as long as we continue to pull each other. We train and teach how to do what I do, and that's to become an AI consultant. And all they really need is the roadmap to do it. And LinkedIn says in 2025, it was the number 2 most in demand job. So jobs on the rise, number 2 on LinkedIn. So AI consultants is the place that I tell women that they need to step all in on, because there's space for us and the demand exceeds the supply.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm a
You're
student, by
welcome.
the way. Um,
Thank you for asking.
so I will ask you a similar question around what have you seen in the environments that you're working in? Where are women leading?
Yeah. So in government, for example, women are leading in having a voice on AI, but especially more about AI ethics, more about responsible AI, thinking about bias and a little bit of the negative consequences of having AI that doesn't take the humans, the human welfare into account. So women are definitely, I've seen some studies that say that women are more hesitant to use AI because of these concerns, right? Sustainability, the energy and water usage, the ethics, the IP and copyrights, and that has made women a little bit more hesitant to use AI. But I do believe that women are also leading in the adoption of AI. So two things can be true at the same time. And so women are, every day they're coming to terms with we have to learn AI. We have to, adapt. We have to see how we can use this technology to leverage our professional development, to leverage our, efficiency at work, our upskilling and reskilling. And so I'm seeing two different things, right? More concern about sustainability, but also the understanding that this is a transformational technology that can help us quite a bit. And so I actually do a lot of um, education on how women can use AI for professional development, and to increase their executive presence at work, and to have more of a thought leadership. um,
Mhm.
yeah, so women will definitely adapt as time goes on and as AI improves.
Mhm.
Awesome.
That was good. I just want to say that was
Yeah,
good, Sorabel, like how women can use AI just in to help them level up in any field that they're in. So that was really good.
I love that. Yeah, I wrote that
Yeah.
down. That's awesome. So now we're at question 5, and this is going to be lightning round because we're getting close to
Okay.
time, ladies. I've had a great time here. So we've covered misconceptions, opportunities, regulation, and inclusion. And now let's bring it down to action. If a leader wants to walk out of here today and take the very first step towards being responsible in AI adoption, where should they start? Soribel, I'm going to go to you first on that one.
Yeah, so the one concrete step that a leader can take today after this panel is to have an AI usage policy. And as I mentioned before, define what the guardrails are for AI usage, and make sure that your employees know about this usage policy and understand what they're allowed and not allowed to do.
Okay. Usage
I,
policy. Okay.
I like
Alicia.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say step number 2 after you do that is that you need to set a clear vision for how you're going to use AI, and then bring in an AI expert who can then show you how you can integrate it, what tools that you can use if you haven't decided yet. and train your team properly. So you can't give your employees, be like, okay, here's your account, without any training. You need to train them on how to use it to get the most out of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've heard a lot today. And the two big things that I've heard, and so I'm going to follow up with that vision. Absolutely, we need to do that. We need to celebrate our quick wins. That will help us move along. Well, ladies, I thank you so much for your time
Thank
today. This has
you.
been awesome, and I know that we have helped to move someone along in their adoption curve. And thank you, and let's continue our track on to making inroads for women in shaping AI's future.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye bye.